Kia. Welcome to another episode of Simply Wellness Kitchen. I'm Kia, and tonight we are going to be making some grilled salmon with quinoa and fresh chard. So let's go ahead and get started. Now this is one of those evenings where we literally just walked in the door and I'm trying to get dinner on the table in about 20 minutes. So let's see how that goes. All right, what I'm gonna do first is actually get the quinoa going because that takes the longest to cook of anything. And for my family, I do about 3/4 of a cup of uncooked quinoa. We do like to eat leftovers, so this will give us a little leftover to go with whatever is left from the salmon and the chard as well for some lunches and whatnot. So you wanna put that in a mesh strainer like this and rinse it really well to get any kind of dust and whatnot that might be on it off. And then I'm gonna just go ahead and dump it in my pot that's over there, and I already have about 1.5 cups of broth, so it's double water to the amount of quinoa that you have. So 3/4 of a cup of quinoa, I've got 1.5 cups of broth. You can use water. I just like the added flavor of the broth. And put that right in there. And we'll put the lid on and I'll turn it on high. When it comes to a boil, I'll turn it down to low and let it simmer for 15 minutes and then that's done. And when the quinoa is done, everything else should be ready as well. So there that goes on high. The next thing I'm gonna do is get the salmon ready to go on the grill. We're gonna start with lemon juice. And get the lemon directly on the flesh of the salmon. So I've got skin side down. Only thing I did this morning was take the salmon fillets out of the freezer and stuck them in the fridge in this pan so that they could defrost over the course of the day. So I just pulled that out of the fridge, stick the lemon on top. And then if you want, you can drizzle a little olive oil on top as well. Okay. And then the next thing I'm gonna do is get some garlic to press into the salmon. Okay, so you might have noticed that I actually smashed down on the garlic to help peel it. It just helps loosen up the peel, a little easy trick to do. And then I pressed 1 clove onto each of the 4 salmon fillets. After that, it's just a little salt and pepper to crack on top, and then these guys will be ready to go on the grill. Okay, these are ready to go outside onto the grill. I'm gonna go ahead and go take them out there, and it probably will be about 10 minutes total. I'll stick them on one side with the skin side down for 7 minutes or so, and then flip them over just for a minute or 2 to kind of sear that garlic and the flavor onto the top. And that's it. So I'll be back in a minute and we'll go ahead and cook the chard. Okay. So the salmon is outside on the grill and the quinoa just started boiling. So I set the timer for 15 minutes and turned that down to low. Now we're gonna work on the chard here. And if you have watched any of the other episodes, this is gonna look really familiar. It's basically the same thing that I did with kale recently. So I'm gonna start with some olive oil in my pan. I can not knock this over. And turn that on to warm that up. We'll chop up an onion. All right, we'll go ahead and put that in the olive oil. And once that gets hot, And start, you can hear it to start sizzle. We'll stir it around and turn it down to low so that can cook nice and slowly. So with this chard too, because it's so fresh and chard is so tender, I actually don't worry about stemming it either. I think the stems are beautiful. They're colorful. So I just slice those nice and thin at the end. If I get a little of the leaf, that's no big deal. And I will add those in with the onions. Okay, so once I have all the stems in, I'm going to go ahead and just coarsely chop the rest of this. Not very precise, however big or small you like it. All right, so as soon as those onions are nice and soft, we'll just take the chard, stick it on top, and let that sort of, I call it steam saute, for maybe 5 minutes. The quinoa's got 3.5 minutes left on the timer, so we'll check it when everything rings. And that means it is time for me to go and flip that salmon outside. And then we'll be back when the timer goes off. Okay, so everything is done at this point. Here's the salmon that just came off the grill. I think it looks fantastic. I'll just set that over here. Here's the chard that I just turned off. Nice and soft at that point, so that's all finished. And the very last thing is here is the quinoa, and you'll notice when it's all cooked, actually don't know how well you see this on a video, but there are these little rings that kind of separate from the seed, and that's how you know it's completely done. So one thing that we think in our family is fun to do with quinoa is to make essentially a cheesy quinoa. I'm going to take a really nice Parmesan cheese and grate about 1/4 cup. If you're not packing it down, then it's maybe closer to 1/2 cup on just a small grate. And while the quinoa is still hot, stick that in. Stir that around and it melts right into the quinoa, adds a little flavor. It's almost like having a quinoa pilaf instead of a rice pilaf. And that is it. So I'll go ahead and take a nice fillet of salmon. Some quinoa. And a nice load of fresh garden chard. And that is your dinner for the night. So thanks for watching, and we will be back again soon.